Morning.
And the Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Philip Shaibu. The national anthem, please. Arise, O compatriot.
So we are live at Edo Government House Festival Hall for the inauguration of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries that is being set up as a result of the NSAS protest. So present here, Honorable Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General, Secretary to State Government, Deputy Governor, Police Commissioner, and the other service chiefs are present here.
Other members are Bishop Ted Idahosa, lady, Francis Osai Asu, Comrade Osahon Obas Sui, NYC.
Kindly share this live stream if you are just connecting. We are live at Edo Government House, setting up of Judicial Panel of Inquiries.
Comrade Pius Efufan, NAS. Pius Ekpere, NSAS. Comrade Kola Edopayi, NSAS. Mrs. Felicia Monye, Minister of Justice. Representative of security forces that are here, sorry, I don't have your name, but if you are here, just stand up for identification, please. A.B. Thomas, Esquire, Muslim. Obienseri Otameye, Esquire, MBA. Ogbidi Iremosele Godwin, NSAS. Imafidon Stephen, NSAS. Iyam Osaro Culture, NSAS. Comrade Kelly Omokao Osumbo, NSAS. Ralph Ohia, NUJ. Sani Momodu Esquire. Oriche Precious, NSAS. Salamu David, NSAS. While Joyce Ugudaga, Esquire, will serve as the committee secretary. May I, with the permission of Mr. Governor, invite the members of the panel to take the oath of office and oath of allegiance, respectively. Please, can we all stand up? Those of us that are going to take the oath.
So for those of you just connecting, we are live at Edo Government House Festival Hall Festival Hall for the inauguration of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. So happening now, Judicial Panel of Inquiries set up for the NSAS protest. The members are currently taking oath of office right here in Edo Government House, Benin City.
And law, and always in the interest of sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I will strive to represent the objectives and direct the execution of state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will not allow myself
protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will abide the code of conduct contained in the Judicial of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that in all circumstances I will do right to all manner of people, according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or become known to me as chairman, judicial panel of inquiry, except as may be required by the duties of my duty as member.
Happening now at Edo Government House, swearing in of members of Judicial Panel of Inquiry to look into everything surrounding the NSAS protest.
Mr. Governor, may I have your permission to invite each member to sign the relevant document as supervised by Mr. Governor. We'll start with the Honorable Justice, the Chairman.
So after oath of office, they are now going to sign the documents. Good morning, everyone. For those of you just connecting, we are live here at the Government House Festival Hall for the swearing in of the Judicial Panel and SARS Protest Judicial Panel of Inquiry. So members are going to be coming in one by one to sign their oath of office.
Congratulations.
In presence of His Excellency
Bishop Fred.
Morning, sir. I'm a product of Word of Faith. Yes. Yes. So that's Bishop Feb Idaosa of Church of God Mission, a member of the panel, Judicial Panel of Inquiry, about to sign.
Francis Osaika.
I was in Shegun Alegbe's set.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm Jacoby.
I'll just go and talk to you today.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Yeah. So that was Bishop Fabi Dausa of Church of God Mission, who's a member of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. We are live here at the Government House. And the ceremony we're witnessing right now is the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. Each member is taking oath of office before His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki.
Congratulations. First, I present.
Congrats, sir.
First, I present from the Civil Society. Congratulations. Mrs. Zami is of the National Council of Women's Society.
So, Mrs. Ozame, representing the National Council of Women's Society, coming to sign. By the way, these are not NSAS leaders, these are members of the society selected from all walks of life. These are not NSAS leaders. Just point of correction. For those of you just connecting, we're live here at the Government House.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Witnessing the swearing of Judicial Panel of Inquiry to look into the NSAS protests and all of the atrocities that happened over the years. So members of the public who have been victims of police brutality, this is a big opportunity for you to open your case or even reopen your case. Fares Operi is coming up now. Fares Operi, one of those in ENDS, one of the peaceful protesters of NSAS.
Comrade Kola Edopai.
So Kola Edopai is going to sign before His Excellency. Spiritual. Governor, don't call her spiritual. Call her spiritual. Spiritual.
Are you the leader of the leading nations?
Yes, sir.
David Thomas Esquire, Congratulations.
So we are live at the Government House Festival Hall, swearing in of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries for the NSAS protests, police brutality, etc.
Of yesterday, of Tamere Esquire of India.
So we also have lawyers among them. Obviously, Tamere Esquire is coming up now to take oath of office as a member of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry. Remember that members of the public who have been brutalized by the police and who have suffered in the hands of the disbanded SARS now have who to lay their complaints to officially. Ogbidi Romoseli coming up to sign and take oath of office. By the way, others present here are the Attorney General, Commissioner for Justice, Chief of Staff for the State Government, Secretary of the State Government, Deputy Governor, and of course His Excellency, alongside the service chiefs, Head of Air Force, Head of Police, Head of NSCDC, Customs, all of them. I mean those for Edo State.
It is pertinent to note that representatives of the police, army, air force, NCDC, and the correctional facilities, the correctional services, DSS, they are all members of this committee.
Now, it is pertinent to note that everything that's happening here today started from the streets, started from Nigerian youth, started from NSAS protesters. Now, government and the public are now meeting here today to take this to the next level, and things are never ever going to be the same again. That one is for sure. Where you have personalities like Kola Edopayi, Fares Operi, and Co, and many esquires, be rest assured that the deliberations are in this Judicial Panel inquiry will be transparent and fair to all those that have been affected. Yes, Ebon, Rebecca, they will begin immediately. We're going to ask them. We're going to ask them definitely when will be their very first sitting. They will tell me. So if you're just connecting, welcome to Edo State Government House Festival Hall in the inauguration ceremony of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. Kindly share this live stream so that a lot of other people can watch it on your wall. So Mama P is coming up. Yes. To sign our own, kindly share this live stream. Mama P is coming to take oath of office as a member of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. So kindly share this live stream if you're just connecting, for all of your friends to watch as we take Edo State to the next level of true and transparent governance between the people and government, to really end police brutality, to end police extortion and all of the accusations against the police. Yes, Vivian, this is the setting up of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries, where all of those who have been aggrieved, those victims of SARS protests, victims of police brutality, that gave birth to SARS protests. This Judicial Panel of Inquiry is now meant to look into all those cases of police brutality and secure justice for the victims.
May I now respectfully invite Mr. Governor to give the newly sworn charge of office.
So His Excellency is going to speak now. So in case you guys don't hear what His Excellency is saying, I'll just repeat some of the important points. Oh yes, we will set up a judicial panel of inquiries on palliatives.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of the State, Secretary to the Government of the State, and Service Staff, Honorable Lieutenant General, I also want to acknowledge the presence of
So His Excellency is speaking.
the Brigade Commander, Fourth Lieutenant Brigade, the Officer Commander of the the Commissioner of Police, and the representative director of the Department of State Security. I want to welcome and thank all of you for coming to this occasion of the inauguration of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry, which has been set up to look into the circumstances surrounding the #EndSARS protests, which has engulfed not only Edo State, but in Nigeria. In this particular case, you are expected to help us look into the circumstances surrounding what has happened as a result and as a consequence of these demonstrations in Edo State over the last several weeks. As you are all aware, in the last few weeks, our youths across the state have been protesting in the streets, and the youths across the country have also been protesting against the high-handed operations of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, otherwise codenamed SARS, which is a unit of the Nigerian police force. And they have been demanding an end to all forms of police brutality, injustice, arbitrariness meted out by the SARS, while they are also using the opportunity to seek for reforms in the police and obtain justice and restitution for the victims who have been affected by these acts, by the acts of the members of the SARS. The Edo State government fully agrees with the yearnings and calls for reform or for reforms in the Nigerian police force, as it is a requirement and a necessity if we are going to have a better Nigeria. There is no understating the fact that a better managed police force will be of immense benefits to the government and people of Edo State. People should not be afraid or apprehensive of their police, because the police is supposed to ensure their safety and security at all times. This certainty, this assurance can only be guaranteed if the policemen who have the constitutional responsibility to secure lives and property are humane in carrying out their duties, and they do so in line with international best practices. It is against this backdrop and in compliance with the federal government's directive that states set up judicial panels of inquiry that led us to constitute this panel on the 19th of October this year. Unfortunately, we have not been able to inaugurate you until today due to the unfortunate events of the last week, where there has been wanton acts of looting, theft, brigandage, and indiscriminate destruction of public and private property in the pretext of NSAS protests. I hope that members of NSAS will publicly dissociate themselves from these wanton acts of wickedness that hoodlums and criminals have meted out on fellow Edo citizens. This is not what you set out to achieve. And I think it is only proper and fair to appeal to Edo people, to assure Edo people that what is currently going on today is not what, that you are not in support of what is going on today. Please, it is important that in order to reinstate law and order, we have had to impose curfew in the states so that we can take charge of the security situation and restore normalcy to the state. Let me, at this juncture, use this opportunity to express our profound gratitude for the service, sacrifice that members of the security services who are seated here with me today have done in the last 1 week to restore normalcy and to protect lives and property in Edo State. In the face of wanton destruction, they have had to maintain maximum restraints so that we do not lose any more lives. But we cannot guarantee as a government that if hoodlums and criminals continue their nefarious activities the way they have undertaken it in the last 1 week, we cannot guarantee their safety.
Governor is saying.
The inauguration of this judicial panel of inquiry today is therefore a very important step in our quest to seek justice for the victims of police brutality, and hopefully this will lead to the reform of our police system in the country so as to prevent such unfortunate and sad incidences in the future. The members of this panel have been very carefully selected from a wide spectrum of our society. If you look at the Constitution, which now we read, we have the Honorable Justice Ada Ehigamusor chairing this committee. We have Bishop Idahosa, who is a member of the clergy, Francis Osai, member of ASU, Comrade Osahon Obasuyi, member of the National Youth Congress, Prest Aigbohan, member of the Civil Society Group, Mrs. Uloka Uzamere, member of the National Council for Women's Societies, Comrade Pius Efofa, member of the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students, Pius Opere, member of NSAS, Comrade Kola Idokwayi, a member of NSAS, Mrs. Justice Felicia Moye from the Ministry of Justice, the representatives of the security forces, Mr. A.B. Thomas Esquire, who is representing the Muslim community, Ovieseri Otamere Esquire, who is representing the Nigerian Bar Association, Ogbidi Erob Osele Godwin, who is representing NSAS, Imafido Stephen, NSAS, Yamo Saro Culture, NSAS, Comrade Mokare Osumbo, NSAS, Abraham Oviawe, NSAS, Ralph Okiria, representing NUJ, Sani Amamodu Esquire, National Human Rights Commission, Uruche Precious, NSAS, Salami David, NSAS, and Joyce Ubodaga Esquire from the Ministry of Justice, representing the Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice. From the terms of reference in this panel are: 1. To receive complaints and petitions from the general public, particularly victims and or relatives of victims of police brutality in Edo State and extrajudicial killings, and to recommend measures including compensation and restitution, investigation and prosecution, and as the circumstances warrant. The panel is to advise on compensation or restitution to the victims, or where the victims have been killed, to the family of the victim, based on conditions which shall be clearly laid out by your committee. To ensure that compensation is paid within 14 days of the decision to compensate. To recommend and direct the Attorney General to immediately prosecute all persons responsible for the various crimes committed. To recommend measures to forestall reoccurrences of such incidences in the future. And to make any other recommendations to government in furtherance of your mandate. You have a maximum of 90 days to complete this assignment, and I hope it will not be extended. And all hearings should be open to the general public. We will make an appropriate venue arrangements and security protections for you to have your public hearings. And it will all be covered by the electronic and print media. I implore all those who have suffered from any form of police brutality or have been affected by it to send their complaints, petitions, and suggestions to the panel. In my briefings with traditional rulers last week, I did employ them that the traditional rulers in every community in the local government should submit their applications through the local government traditional council to the committee. And I expect that others should do same. While urging everyone to remain calm and law-abiding and to go about their lawful activities, I want to reassure you all that the security of our lives and property in Edo State is sacrosanct. That is why I am your governor. And we will do our utmost to ensure that your lives are safe all the time. While I salute the youths of Edo State for their efforts in bringing the issues of police brutality to the front burner and requesting for a change, like I said earlier, I condemn in the most grievous terms the protests that have caused mayhem and destruction of properties in Edo State. In fact, we cannot call them protests. It was a sheer brigandage and criminality. In this regard, the Chief Judge of Edo State has already set up 3 mobile courts to try persons that have been arrested for various offenses flowing from the actions of those who decided to use the present circumstances to take to crime. And anyone found guilty will be made to face the full wrath of the law. I am also using this opportunity to appeal to all Edo citizens and the youths in various communities. Please, you have the authority to arrest any hoodlums and any group of people you see attacking people or private properties. Do not wait for the security services alone. Once you've undertaken the arrests, call the security services, we'll give you numbers, and a response will come and we pick up those people and take them into custody. The state government will continue to implement its various youth empowerment programs, and in fact, we're intensifying our engagement with youths. This is not new to us. We are expanding our youth acquisition centers, sure that all youths who are willing and ready are given the opportunity to acquire a skill, or as we say, handwork, so that you have an opportunity to earn a decent living and contribute your own quota to the society. I want to thank all of this inauguration, and I wish the panel success in its assignment. Be assured that the recommendations and resolutions which we will receive from your panel will be fully implemented. I thank you very much for listening.
Having listened to Mr. Governor reassuring charge of office, may I, with the permission of Mr. Governor, invite the chairman of the Judicial panel to respond.
So, Chairman of Judicial Panel about to speak. We're live here in the Government House. Inauguration of Judicial Panel of Inquiry.
Governor of the State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of the State, the Secretary to the State Government, the Head of Service, the Honorable Attorney General, Your Excellency, the Governor, permit me to stand on the already existing protocol. And this is our own response to the speech of the Governor. On behalf of myself, on behalf of my colleagues and my humble self, I wish to thank Your Excellency for the honor and privilege given to us to serve in this judicial panel of inquiry. The assignment, no doubt, is an onerous and very sensitive one in view of the prevalent unrest and grievances of some youths across our nation. We, however, assure Your Excellency and also the government of the state and the entire people of Edo State that the assignment shall be carried out with the urgency and seriousness it deserves. Further still, we appeal to all Nigerians, particularly Edo State citizens, to remain calm, just as the governor had earlier said in his speech, and be supportive of this panel. We wish to ask all those who are aggrieved to appear before this panel and forward their respective petitions to us. We, on the other hand, assure you all, especially our governor, who is the convener of this panel, that we shall show objectivity, and by the special grace of God, we shall come up with lasting solutions to the generating relationship between the police, the public, and the youth of this country, especially as it pertains to us here in Edo State. Once again, we thank Your Excellency for this great opportunity to serve the great people of Edo State as members of this judicial panel at such a time as this. And then, Your Excellency, permit me to just make the diversionary announcement that Immediately after this inauguration, all the members of the panel will be meeting at the SSG's conference hall. And then to end my speech, Mr. Governor, we thank you for giving us this opportunity once again. And may God bless Edo State and indeed the entire nation of Nigeria. Thank you.
And with that response from the chairman of the Judicial panel, we've come to the end of today's program.
So, for those of you just connecting, we're live here at the Government House. The Judicial Panel of Inquiry has just been commissioned.
Arise, O
Nigerians call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind, one nation born in freedom, peace and unity. So, dear people of Edo State, you now have a judicial panel of inquiry made up of persons from all walks of life, made up of you and me, to look into all of the atrocities committed over the years by SARS. This is a place for the photograph. To be under the sunlight or where? So, again, judicial panel of inquiry has been set up, so people can now officially lay their claim. I mean, not just lay their claim. People can now officially petition all of the things that have happened to them in the past. And those of you whose cases were judged and you are not satisfied, you can go and also make your case before the Judicial Panel of Inquiry. That's why it was set up. So this is just practically to say the society, the larger society, has now taken the challenge to restructure the way we are policed through the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. So I think we are going now for group photograph. Simon. How are you doing here? Okay. Hey, my chairman. Morning, sir. You are a member? No. Oh, okay. Morning, sir. So I think they are getting set now for group photograph. Yes, you have His Excellency Police Chiefs, Deputy Governor, as well as the Secretary of State Government, and all other service chiefs. All of them are here. Morning, ma. Fares, you have to off your face mask so that we see you. So we have Fares Operi there. We have Kola Edupai there as well, all of the others who make, and then of course the chairman. Where is the chairman? Sorry.
How's the Marshal Queen? Don't block anybody.
Okay, there's a marshal here.
Yes, Marshal Queen 01.
Okay. Marshal Queen 01, we can see you. We sight you there. We are proud of you. So you guys can see Judicial Panel of Inquiry is made up of people like you and me, all of us. It's like we're a part and parcel of it. At least I have the direct phone numbers of at least 5 of them, if not more. So the public now has an interface with government to restructure the way they are policed. Yes, face mask so that we can see you.
Are we good? Thank you.
Maybe we should. Here now. There should be some Q&A now. Excuse me, I'm coming.
Below.
Hey, madam. I greet you. We have come thus far.
This is the
That's right, governor. That's my powerful coverage. Bello. Nas.
I think
You come now. Let me stay with my deputy now. You come now.
yeah.
I've done that.
Is this snapping? Oh yeah, go now, go and stand there. Go quickly. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll stay with you.
When I will call her later, you go understand. Face.
Live here at the Government House photograph session with members of the Judicial Panel of
My
Inquiry.
leader. Now, man, you be. Yes, stand near him now. Now, command me with the water. You might not stop the back up.
Yeah, so. Sorry, I think there should be some little Q&A now. I want to say. Madam, just oh sorry, oh my God.
It's closed.
They too like you, madam. They too love you. Yes, facing the sun is better like that, yes. Okay, this is better. So we have here at least two persons I can recognize, which is Mrs. Yamusoro, the head of the panel, and then of course Bishop Feb Idausa of Church of God Mission. No, this is SSA to His Excellency of Media.
Okay.
I just want to ask you a couple of questions. People are asking me already. They are asking, when is the first sitting going to take place?
Right now.
Oh, first sitting is right now.
Yes.
Okay. No, I thought it was just a meeting at the SSG's office.
No. It's part of the inauguration.
Okay.
We're going to take decisions that will encompass the running of the panel. So it's not that we are going to come back.
With all that is going on, do you think the 90 days will be enough for you to...
We'll try because the Excellency, we want to try because he's an excellent governor and we want to do an excellent job. Okay. So our sitting days, they have to be expanded to be able to meet up with the 90 days.
One more crucial question. There are many who are asking those who believe that they didn't get a fair judgment in court against police brutality. Will you look into reopening such closed cases?
No. These are judicial court matters.
Okay.
If they are not satisfied, they go on appeal.
Okay. All right.
They go on appeal.
Okay. Thank you very much. So first sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries will take place right now, as you have heard from Justice Egiamuso retire. First sitting is taking place right now. Fares Okperi, you want to talk to us again? A member of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries, well known to all of us, a very known face on social media, someone who represents the voiceless, the voice for the voiceless, and we are of course happy to have him. He's one of those, obviously, whose direct phone number I have. I can call him at 12 midnight. He will answer my call. So we hear that the first sitting is happening now.
Yes.
What are your expectations?
Well, my expectations I'm very hopeful that our people will come out and use this opportunity to vent their grievances against the system, particularly the law enforcement, and we are hopeful that we can address many of these issues. We can address many of these challenges that our people have been having and get the opportunity to make Edo a more peaceful place for everybody. I'm hoping also that by the end of this, by the time we submit our report, would have been able to
Heal a lot of wounds, right?
yes, heal a lot of wounds and compensate a lot of people. I know the financial aspect is not really the issue, but we are looking at touching the lives of people because a lot of people are grieved.
Yeah.
And we hope that with this committee, with this panel, we can really start to right the wrongs and direct things in the way it should be.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Kola Edukpayi, we need you for some seconds. You have to talk to us. You are a very popular popular voice for the voiceless in the whole of Nigeria, not only Edo State. You are a bona fide member of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry that has just been inaugurated. What are your expectations, sir?
First and foremost, I want to commend the governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki, for finding me worthy, appointing me as a member of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry because of our antecedents. Because for donkey years, a special anti-robbery squad, as a result of their of politics, and he appointed me as a member. By the special grace of Almighty Allah, we are going to do the needful. We are going to give voice. We are going to give voices to the victim of police monstrosity and police brutality, and the families of those who are victims of extrajudicial killings. We will definitely deliver that at the end of the day, Edo people will be extremely ecstatic and exhilarated that there is a progressive in the Judicial Panel of Inquiry. Thank you.
You are sitting right now. I hope you are aware. They said first sitting is taking place right now in SSG's office.
Yes.
Okay. So Edo people are looking forward to the end of today's sitting and the outcome.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. So, yes, they are now going for the first sitting. We're live here in Edo Government House, Judicial Panel of Inquiry to look into SARS atrocities. Police brutality has just been set up, and we will, if possible, if we're able to, we'll run a live stream of their first sitting. So, do well to share this live stream right now. You have the opportunity to immediately after the live stream. Thank you very much to all of you.
Hello, please. The chairperson has just said, if any of us have any suggestion, it will be better if we have any suggestion, we raise up our hand rather than talking to ourselves.
So, Judicial Panel of Inquiry first sitting is taking place. So they are just organizing and arranging themselves and planning the days for meeting live here at the Government House.
The first point of point, how do we get the petition? What method do we use? For example, I have my own followers. So, our pastor is here, Bishop is here. So, are we use the clergy, like the government mentioned, the traditional rulers, we do the traditional rulers. We need to also get to the market women. How do we get at the market women? Look for various organizations to use. Then, one method of media we want to enjoy, social media, electronics, and print. The first point of call is how we get it. When information started rolling in, we know that will determine the number of days that we are going to sit. So, like most of us who are being an activist, like a lot of people knows us to what we are doing about police and issues like that every day. People can easily come to us and pay attention to us. So the idea is part of the
we because there are other panels from other states. Some of those my colleagues, they've sent me what they have. Like I have the one of Lagos State, I have the one of Anambra, I think I have the one of Ogun State.
Judicial Panel of Inquiry first sitting in Benin City for End SARS. We are live here at the Government House.
just suggesting what we should do now, first of all, we have to, like you rightly pointed out, the awareness. So we have to go into the media, we have to publish. This is the one of they are calling for memorandum by the Judicial. So what we'll do now in the Secretariat, first of all, that's what I think. We call for memorandum from people. We circulate in the news media, that is the television, the radio, and then the newspapers of our choice. So that we now intimate the public that already we know, maybe some of us know, but like you pointed out, the market woman, the ordinary market woman, the ordinary women in the church, the elderly, they may have grievances, but they may not know. So we see all that duty to announce, even on our own, if we have flyers, we can, well, that is one of the things we are going to do now. We have flyers that maybe we have to individually, we have like you have a lot of followers, the spiritual, so, and a lot of us will do that. But we cannot afford to be doing nothing for 3 years before I want to use support that. The first thing we should do now, this very moment now, is the awareness campaign that we sit down with. Because this committee in, I think it's in Para, immediately they start, they now, by that, this is today is a Monday. So we come up, today is Monday. So we can, in the Secretariat, meanwhile, sit down, press release, then if we need to print flyers, like jingles, jingles, yes. So these are the things, today now, these are the things we have to decide on. Yes.
Is that in addition to TV announcement?
Yes. Radio.
That will be out.
So Judicial Plan of Inquiry is first sitting, and they are making all of the arrangements on how to do public sensitization and all of that to
Asking where we will venue submitting their petitions to. So I told them to hold on to it. So we also publishing venue.
Yes, venue, time of submission, the working hours of God. The phone number of the secretary, and maybe someone that will actually assist the secretary. Maybe like some of you that have that you have a lot of the spiritual man, one sitting next to the spiritual man, and then so others. We can include your phone numbers, not to overburden the secretary. Maybe we get a personal number for you, or you don't mind. So you know that one. So but I'm sure they won't mind that they have their. So if you go by, yes.
Would it be better if there would be a clerical staff that would be taking care of those in a designated place?
No, we are establishing a secretariat, yes, because that's where we do all our paperwork. Then there is one other thing that I'm just thinking of, because we have to think of our environments. The one of the Para states and these other ones, the number of workers they have as this. So you are submitting your petitions, you submit copies that will go around to the members. But this one now, the body is enlarged, and we know the kind of society we are. To ask somebody asking for redress, okay, you have to bring your yes.
The secretary should do that.
Yes.
Photocopy, the secretary should do that.
happening now. First sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on police brutality in Edo State, right here in Edo Government House. First sitting. Day 1.
You were talking about the environment. In line with that environment, what about those persons who are not educated, who cannot put their attention into writing? So, do we have to make better with the country, or how do we go about that?
We can have oral, but prefer it will be better for us in writing.
Can we please listen to each other? You see, this is not an ordinary panel of inquiry. This is a judicial panel of inquiry. We have to assist each other, and our Lord is to direct us. And in view of this kind of situation, whether you are educated or not educated, I would have suggested that when we do this publication and we go to the TV stations, radio stations, people will hear. All we need to do is give like 7 days within which they have to submit all petitions. Now, when I mention 30, somebody will say, that's too large. We can send 12 copies while we have the secretariat to copy that 12 copies, to go around the 24 or 25 of us here. Meanwhile, this modus of submitting petitions, we can say it can be in writing, typed, or it can be through affidavit. It can be through affidavit or through your solicitor. It can be through your writing. It can be through your typing it, provided it is 12 copies. And it can also be through your solicitor. And it can also be through affidavit. Whatever you know you want to come and say before the tribunal, front load it to us. That is, put them in 12 copies to us. Then we will do the many copies and share it among the members here. But we should be clear. If you say in handwriting, somebody will find it difficult to write 12 times in handwriting. So that can be ruled out. If we now say in typing form, you can type and photocopy 12 and bring. We will make the rest copies here. It's like we are front loading the evidence we are going to give. And the evidence is going to be subject to my Lord's final decision.
No, we are
So when you bring those 12 copies, we will require you to physically come. Apart from those 12 copies, we require you to physically come so as to avoid spurious and fictitious.
No, that is basic. It's basic. You need to address your weaknesses.
So, first sitting of Judicial Panel of Inquiries in Edo State, right here in Benin City, Edo Government House. If you're just connecting, welcome to this live stream. Do to share for all your friends to watch it. First sitting of Judicial Panel of Inquiries.
Affidavit will be better. You can also use affidavit. Madam?
Just I'm coming to you. Let me read out what Para State is. Para State
This
panel invites and encourages all persons who are victims or families of victims of brutality by security agents within the state to come forward with their genuine complaints and grievances, including evidence of this. Then the complaint should be addressed to the secretary. Then the content should state what happened and should be supported by evidence. It should also include names, phone numbers, and addresses of petitioners and their witnesses. The addresses submitted must be traceable. Now, there's this other one we're talking, you put up a question. Petitions should reach the panel on or before the 18th of November. Physical submission of petitions or oral lodging of complaints.
So that's the head of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries, Justice Egamoso.
different date.
Addressing her colleagues right here at the government house in Benin City, first sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries on police brutality.
I suggest, please, I will be starting.
Standing.
Yes. No.
Observation. We are the NSAS protesters, genuine ones. The way you talk down on us now, we don't like it. No, it's not like I want to receive it. I don't take it. No. You are a father, you should have a son.
No.
No. I'm saying that it's not the best systemized. Let's leave it for them to handle it.
No,
I don't like it.
Excuse me. It's okay. I think you should be optional.
We are one here. Yes,
come this way. So we don't want to.
I lost 2 friends last week.
We don't want to. Now we have a very serious task before us. So if there's anything anybody says you don't feel comfortable about it, let's not. I know. We lost.
My friends.
It's okay. That's the essence of this. So it's okay. That's why we are here. So please, if you need to respond, let us be civil. Please. Because if you are civil, you're able to do more work. That's why, okay, suppose we had come and said, okay, this is what you want to do, and wait for your days and all that. That's not it. We are putting our heads together. Accept my on behalf of all of us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We're not here for ourselves, we're here for the public.
Yes. It's painful to lose. I know what it is. But I know how you feel. I lost a brother myself, so I know what it is to lose somebody close to you. So what yes, you were saying something.
Mr. Chairman, sir, it's on record that the struggle thus far is beyond end police brutality, killings, and criminality. It's about fixing Nigeria. And for us to solve the problem, for the problem not to reoccur, we must get people's view. I want to recommend that a town hall meeting should be conducted in the 3rd senatorial district so that we can get the views of Edo people. Otherwise, we'll still fall back to the same problem that we want to solve.
You know, we'll be going outside. You know, we
have a term of reference.
Yes. If we do that, we are going outside when we are mandated.
Mr. Senator, we can also recommend to the government who gave us assignments. Recommend that this is what we want to do. Because if we don't solve the problem, if we don't answer, if we don't
whether we as members can recommend.
Yes, we recommend that. Yes.
You can.
We are going to
come up with solutions.
Yes.
So you can submit whatever suggestion you feel, because we are confined to a certain, it's not a wide. We're not going into the affairs of Nigeria.
No. If you recall, there's a paragraph that is the government that we should look at other measures. If you check that, it emphasizes on the problems that get back to the NSAS. So it's a other measures. Yes.
And that this panel will be assisted with or by, so that by the time we are writing our reports, when we have a budget, by the time we start going outside, we look as if we don't know what we are doing. So the answers, I hope people are following.
Mama, it's what
sit down. Sit down, spiritual.
What my comrade in army is demystifying lucidly is that the NSAS was or is just a nomenclature for the commencement of the struggle to emancipate the plebeians from the iron grip of Henry injustice and bad governance. But what he's saying is, in law, it is just an obiter dictum. Yes, we can't submit our recommendations to Edo State government. Though the recommendations that can be implemented in Edo State can be implemented, while those that cannot be implemented can be transmitted to President Muhammadu Buhari. Like I said, it is not just NSAS. A lot of things are happening.
You know, in our findings, by the time we go strictly into all these things, you find that some of the petitions would include a lot of things that we have to look for. So, but on our own, we cannot go fishing. They will supply us, whoever is coming, they will be able to look at it. I understand what you are saying, because, okay, we've been given, a limitation, jurisdiction on what to work on. But at the same time, if a petition comes up and we feel, looking at that petition, that we are able to make suggestions, somebody comes to testify and is outside our ambit, yes, from what you are saying, we as members, we can make recommendations, though it's not within our, yes, we can do that. But please let us work as a team, so that I want us to come back with a formidable, particularly the younger ones here. Your blood is
But I don't know. Yes. Aside the expanded and the most special anti-robbery squad, yes. I don't know. We have some cases where a military officer beats a man to stupor. After 48 hours, the man joined the ancestors. I don't know if this panel can entertain such a petition, because the family of Mr. Saturday Akizeno, they are lamenting their lamentation that to date the military has refused to unmask the dramatist personnel. Despite the fact that we have written series of petitions, we have protested, and yet the archaic unknown soldier is still playing here. I don't know if the panel can entertain just.
Yes, we will not cross our bridges until we get there. So let us, we are inviting petitions and complaints from yes, with evidence. So yes, so yes. Okay, let's hear the lady. Just a minute. Yes, and sit down when you want to talk.
Our appealing to the House that we shouldn't cross our boundaries. By the time we send out this notification, the police brutality cases will be so much that you forget every other case. Because the issue of police brutality is, I think Benin is at the forefront. You understand? But what I wanted to draw the attention of this House to is social media. When this other man was talking, he mentioned the news, you mentioned newspaper. Nobody mentioned social media. The power of social media should not be. Okay, I didn't hear. It's not what I'm saying is not. It shouldn't just be a passive option. It's a main option. If you are going to publicize this, is that the money we use to go to media, television, should be given to influencers, people that have followers, because everybody's on their phone 247. If this goes on social media, it will go viral more than for our papas, telly, and the rest of them. But I'm just saying that social media blew NSAS, social media blew police brutality. Whatever you saw, the protests that happened started from social media. So social media should as well blow this panel. That's my humble submission.
We are doing so already. This is being live streamed.
So people will see it first.
Yes, they're already seeing now that people are sitting.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Very sorry about your loss, brother. Very, very sorry.
When we started, Mr. Chairman, the point that we should be discussing, we started by raising the number of days of sitting. As we speak, we have not been able to decide on the number of days we are going to be sitting. Instead, we are dancing, to every other areas. I want to believe why our father here, Chief A.B. Thomas, raised the issue of let us be standing up, so that we can be coordinated. So that at a particular time, we take a particular topic or subject, we'll be able to deal with it to the end, and then we move on to the next point. But because right now, with the issue of how many days we are going to sit came up, and from there we have gone to so many other areas, and we have not yet decided the number of days we are going to be sitting. So, Mr. Chairman, what I am trying to bring out here is that when we take a particular point, let us exhaust it to completion, and then we move on to the next point, and then we move on, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to say this is what we have done at a particular time.
Yes, something led to that. I don't think.
Yes, in pursuant to what you just said,
yes.
I think it would be appropriate if the secretary will draw the agenda.
No, this is our first meeting. And this is our first meeting. And it's still an informal one, but we don't want to just leave the inauguration and go home. That's why I'm calling for yes.
In addition to what our colleague here said, I think we have to be focused. This inaugural meeting is not that formal. So some issues were raised regarding how many days we'll be sitting. Some said 3, some said 2. Personally, I think 2 days a week for now is okay. And I think that as petitions keep coming, it depends on the number. We might then decide to be sitting every day. It doesn't matter how much they are, but depending on the number, we can decide to sit every day after maybe 2 weeks. Then what I want to say also is that I think it is good that we form a WhatsApp group here for easy communication, because I don't really know how we are going to be contacting ourselves without that. So that's what I want to say.
The numbers are submitted.
Yes.
Yes, a WhatsApp group of the judicial panel will be set up immediately. Suggestions is that they should be sitting at least twice a week, possibly every day, depends on the cases and petitions and the volume of petitions that they receive.
No, but we know we have said for the oral petitions, Mr. Thomas, you are withdrawn. I don't like it.
Oh my God! I just wanted to give the floor to other persons.
So, like the oral petitions, that one is on.
So speaking now is the head of the panel, Justice Egiamuso.
So by the time they come with the oral, so needs be, we have from the other side, we have to hear from, there's allegations against Mr. B, then we need to send notices to Mr. B that you are asked to appear before this panel. These are the allegations against you. That is when it's oral. And when it is written, what we have here, we have to invite them and we have to give them notice of what they are coming to face. It's a judicial panel. Mrs. Noel, I hope I'm right. Mr. A.B. Thomas.
You are very right, Lord.
Yes.
I want to draw the out back to what my brother is. Let us take these issues one after the other. Like now, we started with how many days in a week. Let's track that one out. Suggestions have been made. If we cannot pick one, then we can put it together. So we move forward.
So 2 days a week.
To the commission, to the panel, I suggest that this week, we use just 2 days. Then, if we say 2 days for this week, is to enable the secretariat get all things right, put this right, then get the WhatsApp and the online thing done, and the publication, like other states, have done, so that it can go to other states. Because some of these people who may have been affected, it's my suggestion, no. So some of these people may be outside Edo State. All right? They may not even know. Some people have this torchlight food and they are affected. So if we decide to put it in a newspaper, then that is the press release, the jingles, then the television, the newspaper, then radio. Then social media. Because I've been tabulating this. If we do that, by the time we come back the following week,
we are set to go.
We are set to begin to receive all these petitions. As the petitions come, if there are any persons that are specifically mentioned based on what we have here, as the evidence is there, the evidence aggregates to when did it happen, who are your witnesses, and so on and so forth. That is what evidence means. So when they begin to submit them next week, we can still sit again for say 2 days next week to see the level of response.
Okay. Because for this group now, this WhatsApp group now, is very good. So that in the event that there will be no sitting,
we can
communicate with that.
If I may suggest, for this week now, it is the secretariat that we really have to work. Not the
But we have said 2 weeks, just in case there is any need for us to comply. That point of contact is very important. Thank you.
I want to suggest that we give deference and respect to our chairman. She has some things she wants to list out today. Let's hear what she wants to list out that we'll talk about. So that if there's anything to add to that, we can add to that. But after that, we move and then we can move on from the day.
Okay, they are all embodied on the secretarial work, because there will be date of submission, there will be deadline for date of submission. I've done that, I wrote that one out. Time of submission, then closing date of submission of those petitions, because it's not a wide, it's not an open check. So all those notes, that's what we are going to do with the secretariat now. So, and then time of sitting, which we will come up with, time of sitting, and then place of sitting. All these will go into our publication. Yes. So, well, we have not really agreed on anything now. The stage we are now is for the secretariat to take up. Once we have a strong secretariat, then we can do a lot. So they are giving us a place now, but we have not known they said we should come later to know the place they are giving us. What I'm not too sure, the staff to work with us in the secretariat, what do we have to do? Do we
discuss it with the
SSC? Yes, because we need to, you can't do all. And then we still need somebody to, even though you are the secretary, maybe somebody amongst us to work with you, right? So that we come up with something. 3 months is not a long time.
You now have 89 days.
The people who are to work with her,
So for those of you just connecting, this is the very first sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries right here in Benin City, Edo Government House. Panel made up of security, the representatives of all the security agencies, Army, Air Force, NSCDC, Customs, DSS, and of course members of the larger different societal groups. Heading the panel is retired Chief Justice Emiliano, so sitting right here.
No, that's 3.
then A.B.
Chief A.B. Thomas.
A.B. Thomas. The father of the Then we have the extras. How many of the extras?
We already have 2 of them now.
2 of them.
Anti-Precious and
Fares. 3 of them.
Fares.
Yes.
Sorry.
We have 2 extras.
He's here, but except no.
It was part of it.
No,
it's a side job.
Different people coordinating different aspects. So don't we have a reason why it's let's not be into politics here. Yes, let us forget that one.
Because they should be sitting in our midst. And who allowed them to sit together? People will not be sitting there, they sit in our midst. Who allowed you to sit in our midst? You will sit in our midst.
No. I think you said now, you are going to be sitting with the chairman.
Him, yes. Let him sit here with the chairman. Yes. So this is informal, even though it's the first sitting, it's informal, so that's why there's talking from all angles. It's just to, set out the agenda, modus operandi, and all of that is being sorted in this informal first sitting. Of course, there's no petition that has been submitted yet. So going forward, they will let the public know how they can submit their petition.
It's not known.
Yes. Government has not yet furnished us with.
The government will tell us.
So all these things, we are tracking all these things. As soon as we write from here, we see the essay.
Not all of us.
This is how to cross.
No, me the answer with the my own. Because when they get some position.
Notice of publication of the activities of the commission. That one is and the dailies, news, media, submission of petitions. Normally, we have not agreed that about that one. The number of petitions.
No. To be submitted. To be submitted.
Some of the recognizable faces here as Bishop Feb Idaosa of Church of God Mission International, right here with us at the panel.
What we agree on the number of petitions to be submitted?
Hello, members of the chairman. If you are submitting a petition, this maybe can be 10 copies. Then we can duplicate the numbers. But I'm not bothered with the mode of writing the petition. We have stated that it can be any email, you can send to a lawyer, and those are channels that are bureaucratic. You have to send it to write a petition, of course.
You have to pay.
You know it. So we have to liberalize this. Let petitions come from even few members of this committee who assess the complainant. You can help the person to write it.
Yes,
therefore, mode of
physical submissions of petitions or oral lodging of complaints.
No, that is a judicial panel. Oral lodging.
This is a judicial panel.
Yeah, I know, but we can. They should copy us, not us.
No, because we wanted that they are so person, you are putting on videos.
But you know that even the persons that are mentioned, you say just take it down.
So for example, from my experience, I'm in mediation.
Yes.
We take complaints, we take oral, we take routines, we take referral.
And they walk in.
Yes, when they walk in, what any of us collect them, sit down, tell us your story, what is your problem?
We have enough lawyers here that can do that.
Yes.
We have plenty of them.
Many of us can write for them.
So members of the judicial panel are even saying they would suggesting that they would even write petitions on behalf of complainants for those who are illiterate or those who cannot write properly.
We can equally mandate some members of this, maybe 2 or 3, to appear in any of these enlightenment programs on television, like this morning on ITV. ABS also has their own, to also enlighten the public. Yes.
My lord, I wanted to. I wanted to suggest, I'm thinking aloud, that a panel right now from all the various suggestions, we can have temporary subcommittees. We can have the press committee. We can have the complaints, petitions, whatever committee that will be in charge of complaints, collation of complaints, and so on. And if there are other complaints, the subcommittee can help to also reduce into that. So that we break our.
So for those of you just connecting, we're live here at the first sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. A suggestion has just been made for subcommittees to be set up within the panel to attend to the various issues such as press and management, complaint management. So do well to share this live stream so that everybody will be carried along.
The subcommittee for that, the representatives from
because in the end, war is also settled on the table of negotiation.
Very well.
Okay, so the complaints now, we pass them over to the NSAS.
Let's add 1 or 2 lawyers.
At least 1 or 2 lawyers.
Okay, you will be with them.
I why must it be 2 lawyers?
Hello. Please, I'm not stopping anybody. Please, I don't want us to talk. You will join that committee. Can you follow that? You agree? Fine. So that we can get some other persons to join you in that committee. So
No. Which committee? The complaints.
That's the complaints.
So the NSAS members of the judicial panel will be in charge of managing complaints from the public. So they will receive it and submit it to the panel. Then of course there will be media committee, there will be
on the secretariat first. Read it out. Read it out.
I told you, please be there.
I have Precious.
I
have David.
Put the names now.
No, when I should we use that? I will now get the full name.
Okay.
Then I have A.B. Thomas.
How many? Esquire.
Chief, I left Esquire long ago.
You left Esquire?
I left Mr. long ago.
When will you leave Esquire?
No, I won't leave Esquire. I left Mr. long ago.
Then, for the, do you have any paper so that they can, for fast, you can give them so that they can write their names?
Can we get a list of committee names?
If you want to make sure you have some.
Okay, so you give this to the SARS
so that they are in charge of it.
Please.
So which other committee now?
The press. What about the press?
The press.
The
Yes.
Then who are suggesting?
I'll suggest, since the NUJ is not here, can speak some media influencers also join in. Join for a lot of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that.
Okay, they are here.
Yeah, we know they will not access.
Okay. So
I'll start with the NUJ.
Who the
chairman?
Chairman. Then let him chair and the others. Then which other committee do we want to be?
Which one is the judicial committee?
Judicial committee.
No. It's secretariat. Then complaints committee. Then the publicity committee. No. Come at the end. Yes. No,
So how many subcommittees do we have?
We have 3.
Is that okay?
That's okay.
For But you should be in one of the committees.
Yes. No, it's a suitable one.
Please, so that join it.
No,
we need to complain. Complaints. Yes, we want you in one of them.
I think also the one of this, we also need the rep of police to also be there.
But they are not here now.
So for those of you just connecting, we are live here at Edo Government House. First sitting of Judicial Panel of Inquiries that has been birthed as a result of the end SARS protests. And the Governor Godwin Obaseki instructed that their sitting must always be transparent and made known to the public as it is happening. Reason for this live stream we are running so that all of you can hear them as they talk, as they sit, and as they deliberate on the issues. By the way, this day one is an informal sitting. They haven't received any petitions yet. They are only just, making all of the deliberations and all of the arrangements on their mode of operation. So that's why it's a little bit rowdy, it's a little bit different persons are talking at the same time. But again, this is just day one, and they are making all of the arrangements for their mode of agreements and all of that for their mode of operation. They are setting up different subcommittees to attend to press, complaints, compensation, etc. That's all of the things that's being sorted out right now. Again, this sitting is ongoing. It's an informal one. It's day one. So they haven't received any petitions yet.
Are you in the press?
Yes,
Social media influencer. Social media influencer.
Human rights. The complaints. National human rights.
The Nigerian Army is here, Nigerian Air Force is here, DSS is here. Nigerian Police Force is here. NSCDC is also here as well. Customs also have representative here. Nigerian prisons also have representative here. All of them are seated in the first sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. Of course, the head of the panel is Justice Egiamuso, retired.
To submit report, when to submit.
No, but we haven't gotten anything yet. They are just asking. They are.
My lord, if I understand Professor very well, what I think he's saying is that with these three subcommittees now, and since we still have 1 more day to sit this week, if we come next week, let each committee submit a report as to what they have done.
What will they do?
There is publicity committee.
Because you are going to need some funds to do some of these things. So which report are you talking about? We are just doing the framework. And self-finish we submit to the SSD. You have any response? Before we do so,
I'm not saying that, but I'm telling her about public from day one. The public are seeing this right now to help them to be calm if something is happening. Most likely, particularly when petitions have been submitted, when they want to start to deliberate on the petitions, definitely.
Because we have succeeded in doing some money.
Can you get a microphone or something for the deciding something? No, I mean, after today, with which can be done. I think they're going to be sitting. So I should be stressing yourself.
I would suggest the subcommittee should have admin that will create also WhatsApp group.
It's only doing that.
Okay, for the subcommittees.
He's taking the WhatsApp number from the general.
They need to have their own subcommittee.
Yeah, no, it's very important so that they can use that to brainstorm and know what they intend to achieve. And they will not give us their own interim report. Like the secretariat will tell us, this is how far they have done. They have been able to get the secretariat. They can now work with this. They have
so what we have now, we have 3 subcommittees. We have 3 subcommittees because I'm going to bring the evidence. We have 3 subcommittees. We have the complaints from the staff. We have the press. And then the other one is
media. So that's not the press committee. Then the secretariat subcommittee. The complaints subcommittee and the press.
So publicity and the press, they go
together.
Yeah, the better name is publicity.
Publicity subcommittee, yes.
So, but within you in the subcommittees, you can form your own subcommittees or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
The framework we're doing right now is a very good start. We have a framework committee that will also talk about what we're thinking and what we're not thinking. We have to guide it on. If not, we just keep going every day. People in media, like you mentioned, like you said about the agenda, mentioned about procedure. So we have to feel that the framework of how we will operate. Check ourselves to do that. But I think the issue of the framework, like you mentioned, the gender and that thing, so that come from our secretariat and the chairman of the circuit. Every time we meet, we follow this framework. If also we have a
because we have to make the SSG to see how our secretariat will be like. Because if they are submitting 10 copies, we need to have
yes. But they also pass it for me.
So what else are we talking about today? Yes.
Why we're listing out the criteria for the petition? Witnesses of attention. There are some persons that have been harassed. They just know this division did this to me. The person from this division, but they don't know names. Do you understand? Then you see some of these federal stars, former federal stars, disbanded. They don't have name tags. Like I have a person that paid 580,000 naira by force. He didn't know I complained to one of the security chiefs and I was like, get a name. He didn't know the name. We didn't even know how to trace the person until the protest in front of state headquarters. He quickly tapped me. The camera captured it when Bulliova was trying to push protesters and he was the person in front of that Bulliova as in on top of the Bulliova. So he quickly tapped me and said, that's the man, that's the man. Okay, didn't they say that? You understand? So if not that, we wouldn't have known the person. So in cases like that, what happens when you just know, start did this, I have evidence of the transaction. Some they bring POS that their own personal POS, and if you trace that POS, someone that tried it, that POS does not end with any name. Do you understand? So in such cases, you just know that so and so they took me to this POS and I withdrew this money and gave them cash. Is it that the POS? What happens?
Maybe they have doctored it in such a way that it's untraceable.
Untraceable, yes.
So, but in the absence of any evidence, there's nothing you can do. I will still appeal. Excuse me, gentlemen. Please, I still appeal to every one of us. Let us, take this assignment with all seriousness that it deserves. It's a serious one. We might be looking at it now. This is our first inaugural meeting, but it's a very serious and sensitive assignment that we have to do. Like she had pointed out now that there are some cases, and I know there are various cases. There are various cases like that. But in the absence of any evidence to tie anybody down,
in cases where you have some these personnel that use nicknames, like for instance, story. You understand? That name, when you mention it among young persons, he has so terrorized and they just know the name. I've had one in Cabo. I don't know his real name. So yes, you know, you just know that this story. You know, you just know there are some nicknames that are already in town. What is he? Can they use those alias
when we get to the bridge, that is why we have that subcommittee and we have received the complaint, articulated, deliberate on it.
They can all use the nickname.
Yes, as long as administration, if it's no issue. If people have a photograph.
Yes, I think there is one right issue that has to be streamlined. Yes. And I'm aware that a lot of persons here are putting also judgment against SAS officers. So are we going to elaborate our TOR to compensating those who already have valid judgments? No. Because let me explain. A lot of persons here agree of SAS brutality, and I can tell you that majority will not be able to establish a case of proof beyond reasonable doubt. Now we are talking about compensation. We should also look at people who are proven taking steps to use the education system to get justice, and yet they have not been
giving the compensation because the money of police is somewhere in CBN. CBN will deny everybody. I don't have policemen and all that. So those are compensating mechanisms that can actually give justice.
Yes, gentlemen, my learned friend has just raised an issue. It is my suggestion that this be a judicial panel of inquiry. We cannot take issue of compensation at the stage we are until we get to recommendations. Those recommendations will be embedded with the judgments, because I know where he's talking about. When you get judgment against the police or the force or the army, you cannot get enforcement against them without the fiat of the Attorney General of the Federation. These are part of the recommendations plus the judgment we will send to the SSG, who will send to the governor, and the governor will know where he is sending to. So that those people will also get their compensation when others are getting their own. If we say, oh, right now let us be implementing judgments of court, it's not possible.
How can this panel enforce judgment?
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
It has to go with recommendation. It has to go, gentlemen, it has to go with recommendation to the SSG or government. The government. The government. It has to go recommendation. Please. Thank you, my Lord.
So the chairman, I want to suggest that we still want to come out to that idea of a framework committee. So every time we meet, we have a framework to follow, or else we will be like this, we are going 10 different directions every time.
Just like what Bishop, if I get the Bishop, it's like at every city, we know what we are coming to discuss.
Correct.
So that it will be like a course list, or if you are attending meeting, you know the agenda. Rather than just coming, we go east, we go west, we go west. So at every meeting we are coming in future, that is what I understand the Bishop will say. Sorry, I am not an interpreter.
You know, most of what we are really involved with is the day-to-day sitting of the hearing of petitions. That's what we are involved to listen to agitations and petitions for individuals and come up with a report. Those that need to be compensated, that is primarily, that is what has the goal, you know. So if these other ones we are doing is just a peripheral thing, just to give us a leeway into doing our jobs. By the time the Secretariat is set up with whatever we need, all the working materials, and then the complaints panel, you are arranging to have your complaints coming to you, then the press, then we're good to go. We don't even have any other thing to do other than to be taking hearings every day from people. Because maybe we need to, somebody was saying that maybe the governor said something about going outside some of them. Even the area I was looking at, somebody said there are some people they don't know their name. If we need to rise and go to maybe somebody, yes, we go with somebody for identification, we can do that. But primarily what we have to do here is hearing. Hearing, that is what I understand what we are here to hear complaints from people, because people are agitated, a lot of people are grieved and suffering. You know, they've lost lives, they've lost their family members. Somebody was crying just now, saying he lost a friend, one of us.
Two friends, yeah.
We have put it for you. So we put public address.
So for those of you just connecting, this is the very first sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries on which has been set up as a result of NSAS protests to look into all of the cases and accusations of police brutality in Edo State.
The whole of this week should be a work.
Chairman of the panel is Justice Yamos, retired, and we have
we decide our seats where we'll be sitting.
Representatives of all the security agencies.
Because all these things require more resources.
And of course members
so
representing different groups in the society.
We go and see the SSG, then we take it off from there. But our primary assignment is like a court, so to say, it's a question, I don't know what to call it, a preside court. So we listen to them. We can even cross-examine them. Yes. We can. Yes. Yes. That's the essence. So I agree and I support your suggestion that we put it just for 2 days. We are not coming up with anything yet, but within this week, hopefully, I hope we'll come up with something. So we won't even announce anything. And Thursday. So while the secretariat, the press and the secretariat will be working. Yes. We'll be working. Because we need to meet the essence. Because we need to send out feelers, sensitization, to people, so that they really know that there's a panel of this nature. I'm sure with the press, they are here with us there at the inauguration.
Yes, of course. The representative of the press. The representative of the press is a member of the panel.
Okay, that's the.
Okay, Mr.
Live and direct, I'm here.
So are we putting, is there anything we are putting up in the press?
Give it to him.
No, nothing for today.
No.
It's just the announce that's from the government side.
Yes.
Let's not be judgy. Let's not get offended by little things. So let us work as a team so that we'll be able to come up with something for you. Like you said, it's something that Edo State should be coming. We'll exchange contacts. Please agree to each and every one of you. If there's anything offensive, you can be civil about it. You can get up and talk, but let's not be combatant. Please, I beg you. So that we'll be able to work as a team, as a strong team. I don't believe in, foul language or incivility. I don't work like that. I prefer to work because you do more work by the time you work as a team. Like he has now suggested that we form subcommittees, which has even put us forward to what we want to do. So, in the absence of what else again? Sorry. It's supported by
WhatsApp message that the secretariat will inform.
So anyway, suggestion about online meeting is being ruled out because it's a very serious matter, and it is true that network might be issues. For those of you just connecting, we're live here in Edo Government House, first sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiries that has been set up as a result of SARS protests.
What dates have we decided? Or we say we communicate? Today is Monday. So we meet again on Thursday. Time.
Ma, won't it be more appropriate that then will be communicated through WhatsApp?
Yes.
So that by the time we are here, everything will have been set.
So that we
That is one. Then two, I hear Mondays. I fear if we take Mondays as one of our city days, just coming out from the weekend, we will need to set up our offices before Monday will go out. So I think we should be looking at Tuesday. Tuesday, yes, because this committee is not our primary place of work. Like Monday, you set up, the week in your own office.
Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Tuesday, Thursday.
So Tuesdays and Thursdays will be sitting for now at the Judicial Panel of Inquiries. But the days might also vary, as been mentioned by the head of the panel.
Set up the week before, then by Tuesday you come together for meetings. I don't suppose about this Tuesday for now. Yeah, Tuesdays.
So what is Tuesdays and
Tuesdays.
The evening, they always add more days.
Because by the time we are fully set up, we are going to add Mondays.
We can add Mondays, yes. But Saturday, not Monday.
You don't say that.
So the panel meeting is gradually coming to an end. So thank you all for watching this live stream. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching this live stream. We'll leave now, and later there will be press release on all that was deliberated today. There will be summary of it all. Thank you very much for watching this live stream, and we'll have a great week ahead.